from Easy Electric series, and today we are going to learn about the solid design versus broken design or model in Fusion 360. So what's the solid design? Solid design is a design that if you change one dimension in your design or model, so the all other dimension in your design somehow change based of these new change in the dimension. That means easily you could rescale or change any dimension that you have in design and your model is not going to um, break down and the old model somehow adjust it itself based off these new change. In the other side, actually a broken model is a model. If you change just one dimension in your model, suddenly your model break down and somehow the other part of the model somehow they couldn't adjust themselves with these new change. So let's to have one example and see what exactly it means. So as usual, I'm making the sketch in YZ axis. So let's to actually first start with the line. So I start the line here, go 50 and say enter. So make this line as a construction. As usual, I'm actually coming here and make sure there is a lock here. For so far, I'm actually constrained. So now then another line, if start from here, comes another 50 and enter. So as you could see, I changed that to the construction and somehow I take them out from here. So this one should be fully constrained too. So let's do just make sure that's actually fully constrained. Even I could put this down that make sure everything is fine. So fully constrained, I'm good. So let's to actually change the scale and somehow put that a little down that you could see better. So now I need a rectangle. So that I actually make the rectangle, 2-point rectangle, start from here and go to 100, tab and 50 for the other side and say enter. So it's fully constrained. That good news. In each step of your design, you should check this lock. Don't actually keep to fix it at the end because at the end you have too many components and really impossible to figure out, okay, what's wrong with that and how you could make that fully constrained. After adding any component, check this, then move to the next step. So now I'm going to make a circle. So let's to actually make a circle here. So I put the circle somewhere here and to do 30 as a diameter. So this is a 30 your diameter. Now I want to put somehow in the middle of this line. So what I'm going to do, I say coincident. So I'm select this midpoint to this midpoint that you have. Boom. So as you could see, I bring it here and it is full constraint, which is actually should be good for now. But as you could see, I just put the center of the circle with this constraint, which is the coincident to this point. Somehow I say this point should be matched here, and somehow I didn't use any constraint that somehow tells what should be the relationship of this circle with this rectangle. Also, the model is fully constrained, but let's see if we have a changes, what should be happen. So let I actually comes here and say, okay, it is 50. Even that I do one thing, that I say finish sketch, comes to here, select this and extrude that, let to say 30. So you got actually the nice, actually the model or nice component. Now you say, okay, how about changing this small component that we have? It's not exactly is what I want to have. So let's to actually back to here and somehow edit our, let's just get rid of this and edit the sketch. So I back to sketch again, let to bring the same view that we had. So it's not this one, it's not this one, and that I just show the home should be bring us to the same place. Yeah, probably we need to rotate it. Okay, now it is exactly what we have. So now I say, okay, let's to change this. I don't like 30, 50. Let's to say 30. So maybe 25. Let I say 25 and change it. Boom. So your actually model break down because now it's not in middle of this. So even if you back to here, or you say finish the sketch, this is what happened. Your model is break down. There is no circle there. Why? Because your model is not the solid model, and you actually made the simple change, and your old model is gone. So let's to actually back here to the edit sketch and see what we could do. So even here, if you give actually still a big number, it's the same story. If I give 70 and say up, it is not really what I want to. So this should be somehow moved with this dimension, right? So the reason is my model is not solid, and somehow I didn't define a relationship between this circle and this rectangle. So let's to see what was the problem. So let's to see how we could fix that. Actually back here to redo, 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 and let's do zoom that a little bit and do something different. So I bring this. Okay, this was the situation, right? I had this. I just put these coincident between these 2 points. So instead of using the coincident, now I'm using the constraints and somehow define the relationship between these two. I'm going this time use the midpoint and say this should be midpoint of this. So that means no matter somehow what's happened on the sides, so all the time this should be in the midpoint of these lengths that you see. Somehow I define the relationship between these two. So let's to see what's happened now if I change the size. Still I'm constrained. Now I'm saying 75. See, is it is going to broke? No, it's actually moved with this rectangle. Now I'm telling 25. Is it going to be broke? So the answer is no, because I actually have the right definition or define the relationship between this circle and this rectangle. That's really meaning of the solid model. Whenever you design any model, you should be actually careful. Your model should be a solid model because in the real world it's really happen. You design your model, then you change your idea and you have to change the dimension. So you shouldn't be scared, okay, from changing any dimension because if the model is the solid model, if you change something, the everything actually change based off that. So even you see if you back to here and now if you constrain this with these new dimension, nothing should be happen, right? So see, I have this one. Now, if it's still you back and change that to 75, nothing happened to your model. So let's just, I zoom that a little bit. Now I'm changing that to 75. So again, because my model is the solid model, so I really don't scare anything happen to you, my model. And I easily say finish it. So then comes here and I extrude it. So for any size that I want, so see it's actually changing. So that means your model or your design again should be a solid design, and solid design means no matter if you have any changes anywhere in your design, the all components somehow adjust based off that if you already define the right relationship between the all component that you have. So let's to actually have one other example which we somehow shows I think that should be difficult to actually undo everything. Let to just close it and open that again, and let to have the other example which somehow shows how you could make the solid model. So that means whenever you start to design your model, keep in your mind your model should be the solid model, and you should somehow define the relationship between the different component using the constraint that we have. So let I actually comes here and have the other example. Let us say create sketch. So okay, it comes here. So let's do one thing. Let's do something else. I'm coming to here to the rectangle. Maybe this time have the same thing. Let's say 100 and tab to the 50. So enter. It is it's the constraint. You see this lock. So we should be good. Now I want to draw another rectangle in the center of this. So let I actually comes to here and say rectangle, let to say, I don't know, 2 point rectangle, bring this here, and let to say 20 by actually tab and 20. So this is actually 20 by 20. So it's not actually, so see, it's not constrained because the position is not clear. So if I go undo, it is locked. If I never say this one, it's back. It's actually still is not constrained. The reason is actually the position is not clear. So now I want to put these in the middle one. Again, I want to have the solid design. It is in my mind, okay, if you now have this, even if it's fully constrained, still there is no relationship between these two. If I put in the center, somehow I should be put in the center and also say or define relationship between these two. What is that relationship? This should be all the time in the center of this point. Let's to see how we could do that. Let's to have a line. I put one line here to here. So it is constraint. I say this is not my design. This is a construction, and I do another line here, here to here. So again, I'm telling this is not really design. This is a constraint. And now let to see how I could say this one should be exactly in the middle of this. So let to say midpoint. So if I say this is a midpoint and say this line all the time should be the midpoint of this. Okay, is not working. Let actually retry it. Okay, so let to retry it. So let times here and say midpoint. I click it, which is make sure it's clicked, and now I click on this one. Boom. So as you could see, now it is a fully constrained. It is important. And the second one is the model is the solid. Why? Because somehow I say what should be relationship between these two with using the midpoint constraint. So now if I change these 50 to 100, see what's happened. It is broke down. No, it's moved with this because I have a right, define the right relationship between these two. If I change this one to 200, and see it's still moved with that, and the reason is because the model is actually the solid model. So if I say finish and come here and say extrude, so then you go to the home to see better. Yeah, then you extrude it, so you actually get the nice design. Okay, so see these that I zoomed it. Okay, so see this is your nice design, and so now suddenly say, oh, let I change the size of this middle one. So you shouldn't be concerned because your model is the solid, and easily you could make any changes without broken your design. Now I say that 40, okay, and say enter. You did that. Now because your model is a solid model, there is no concern here. So see it's back to that shape. Now again back here and go say edit sketch and say okay, let's do that 50. Do really I should be concerned about broken down? The answer is no, because it's changed that base of what you did. So these are actually the two examples that it shows you should keep in your mind your model should be a solid model. So and whenever you start to design into two-dimensional, just make sure you actually use the constraint which somehow shows the relationship between different component that you have. If I summarize these, what we learn in this video, we talk about the solid model versus a broken model. In the solid model, you actually use the right constraint and define the relationship between different components. So then, whenever you change one dimension, the all your model actually change or rescale based off these changes. So in the other side, if your model is not actually the solid model, so with making a small change in dimension, it's all the model will be break down because you didn't define the right relationship between different components. So I hope you find these video useful. Thank you for watching this video.